But, as you well know, appearances can be deceiving, which brings me back to the reason why we're here. We're not here because we're free. We're here because we're not free. There's no escaping reason, no denying purpose, because as we both know, without purpose, we would not exist.
It is purpose that created us. Purpose that connects us. Purpose that pulls us, that guides us, that drives us. It is purpose that defines. Purpose that binds us.
We are here because of you, Mr. Anderson. We're here to take from you what you tried to take from us. Purpose.
So I understand a lot of people right now are really hopeless about their place in this sort of what I call Winstonhood. And Winston is the protagonist from 1984. And Winston has this very sort of like fatalist, bleak, defeatist complacency about his place in Ingsock's military-industrial machine. And Ingsock is 1984's political party / military-industrial complex machine that everyone works for in the future. And it's constantly pitted against this fictional other, this Eurasia. And Ingsock is headquartered in Oceania. And so it's like the motivation for the military-industrial complex at Ingsock is to be constantly at war with Eurasia. And Winston sees no problem, I guess, with how he's this human computer. And he has no individual identity. And he's told to live like a rat, you know, and he's told that if he doesn't live like a rat and keep his head down, that his face will be chewed off by rats. And that's how Ingsock maintains control, is they're like, if you go out of line, we put this thing called the rat mask on your head that chews rats off your face, because the rats have been starved. The rats have been starved and crazed somehow, and so when they sick the rats loose on your face, they're just going to bite it off. And so they have to live under that fascist sort of control. And I don't think that that's our current reality yet. But I do think it's possible. I think that right now it's possible, but not inevitable, irrevocable. I think that we collectively as a species can choose something different than Orwell or Kafka. I don't think people should be so hopeless or fatalist or defeatist about this sort of globalist conformity, about like we should all be marching to the same tune, doing the same work. And I don't know. I don't agree with that. And I don't think that people or humans are suited to that, you know, because humans are so suited to trying to express themselves. And if you suppress that lifelong, I mean, that's kind of what happens in 1984, is that there's all this angst, you know, and the angst is because of all the suppression. And even sex is suppressed. You know, it's like everything is suppressed. Everything has to be bleak and gray and dull and shitty, so that you have your head down all the time. You're morose, you're depressed, you can barely hold your head up. And that's how Ingsock maintains control. And I don't think it should be like, you know, criticizing the people that are trying to make that future happen gets you like ghosted, sued, ruined. It's not right. Like, there should be a court jester at Ingsock that's allowed to operate. And that's, if anything, what my channel attempts to be, is like, these people should still be open to mockery. Like, right now, for whatever reason, people, we have the equivalent of supervillains. You know, we have the equivalent of a Blofeld or a Dr. Evil. People with that level of power and essentially control over all of us because they control our information and our money. And what else do you really need to control us right now? And people like Eric Schmidt at Google, they try to use your information to predict what you're going to do in the future. And that predicts how you're going to spend, which then controls your money. Do you see how all this works? And I should not have to worry about myself because I express that truth. People like Eric Schmidt shouldn't try to kill you because they are criticized. And I'm not saying he does that sort of thing, but people in his position seem to silence their critics And I'm one of those people that's like, I don't think Breitbart went under the most felicitous of I don't think it was, God called him. It seemed like he was dumping a lot of truth on the kind of people who ghost you for doing that. And that shouldn't be the way the world operates. It shouldn't be like, you're threatened with death or castration or whatever else. It's like medieval. You're threatened with having your whole life ruined or ended because you criticized power. I don't know. I really think that... I don't know. I don't know. I want to do so many videos on this because I'm exploring it, obviously. Like, it tends to make me ramble because I get so, like, where are we headed? And I want to do multiple takes in these, but this time I'm just letting it flow because I'm very frustrated with like this sort of bleak nihilistic fatalism, this sort of like head down, like, well, we might as well just, get that corporate job with the really good income and buy directly into this treat yourself consumerist culture. And so it's like, now I need to make all this money to buy all this stuff that makes me quote unquote happy. And you end up in this Ouroboros of like debt and spending and like tearing your hair out over your fucking credit rating. I swear to God, when people look at that arbitrary fucking number that's made up by the Fed and it's like, yeah, that's like a scarlet letter. That's like the Fed putting a literal scarlet letter on you. And so ignore it. Fuck it. Who cares? And then you get people like, oh, heresy, blasphemer. Like, but I want to be comfy. And I'm like, yeah, but comfort requires dependency. Okay? Like, the more comfy you want to be, the more you're relinquishing responsibility and duty to yourself to something else. The more you're like, well, if I pay money, this thing gets taken care of for me. And most people, I think, now are starting to admit that they could live cheaper if they wanted to be a little less comfortable. But, oh, God forbid they're less comfortable for a minute right now. And that's where this acquiescence to this beast system comes from. Is people's desperate need to be comfortable all the time. And I don't want to get personal and bitchy about my own pain, but it's like, for fuck's sake, for someone who hasn't been able to sit comfortably for 20 fucking years, for people to be like, I need my comfort dog, I need my Xanax. I'm like, oh, please, for fuck's sake, how the fuck are you going to handle Mad Max? What if the grid goes down tomorrow? What if you go to the ATM tomorrow and it doesn't work? What if you go to McDonald's tomorrow and it's closed? Or the supermarket? Will you freak out and shit your pants? And be like, help me, somebody help me. And I'm like, the point of me and my channel is I'm like, can you have some shame about that level of dependency on the beast, please? Can you just be like, yeah, I'm fucking addicted to looking at my phone. But everyone kind of lets themselves off the hook for that kind of... This slide we're taking. And I'm the one that's kind of like, I'm trying to hold the boulder from rolling downhill. And I understand that sort of Agent Smith, it is inevitable level of fatalism. It's like he's looming over my shoulder while I'm pulling up that rock.